Hello everyone and welcome back to Foot Forecast, and there are three ways to describe that Liverpool performance in the defeat to Bournemouth. The first one being fragile, which we've been all season. The second one is vulnerable, and finally the third one is relaxation, which turned into complacency. And I'm going to discuss how that affected us in today's game, as well as going, first of all, through the lineup that Liverpool went through. And we went with the same sort of box midfield. And it was very similar to what we did against Marseille in position. Out of position, it was slightly different. Salah and Gakpo were wider than they were against Marseille, I felt. And in the first 25 minutes, Liverpool actually started the game quite well. I thought we were actually playing all right. We weren't terrible, that's for sure. We were in control. We just couldn't quite get that final pass to work. Wirtz had a couple of goal opportunities, and there were some promising signs for Liverpool. Mo Salah had a decent chance, but apart from that, Liverpool never sort of threatened enough when we were sort of on top in the first 25 minutes. And Virgil van Dijk made a massive mistake in that first half. He has to just clear the ball. He doesn't clear the ball. Alex Scott manages to get the ball into Evan Nielsen before the ball goes out. And Evan Nielsen put the ball in the back of the net to put Bournemouth 1-0 up. And I would say that was probably against the runner play. Bournemouth hadn't threatened much apart from that. And this actually results in Joe Gomez getting injured. And I can't decide which goal annoyed me more, this one or the next goal I'm about to talk about for Bournemouth, because in the next couple of minutes we looked really fragile, we looked very vulnerable, and Bournemouth were pushing for the second goal. All we needed to do then, though, was take out one of the Bournemouth players and get Wataru Endo on the pitch, because Joe Gomez had to go off injured, but we couldn't get the sub on. So we had 10 players and we had one of our centre-halves injured. And it won't come to any surprise that Alex Jimenez gets in behind Milos Kerkez and he scores to put Bournemouth 2-0 up. And from there, it's an uphill battle for Liverpool. Virgil van Dijk is once again at fault for this goal. He's way too deep, and that allows Alex Jimenez to get in behind Milos Kerkez. Kerkez is also at fault for this goal, for letting Jimenez get past him so easily. And I actually felt Alisson could have potentially done better on this goal. And after this, for the next sort of 15 minutes, nothing was working for Liverpool. The passing was completely off. We were so vulnerable and we were terrible. But we did manage to get ourselves back into the game just before halftime through Virgil van Dijk. And he had a very much a mixed half involved with everything good and bad. And it was a good header from Van Dijk. Liverpool corners have not been good under Arne Slot, but that was a good delivery to get us back into the game. And after this, Liverpool made a change at halftime. Robertson for Kerkez. I was a little bit surprised with this. I wasn't that annoyed about it. I thought Robertson actually had quite a good game when he came on for Liverpool. And after this, sort of the next sort of 20-25 minutes, Liverpool just dominated the ball with nothing really happening for Liverpool. Very similar to the first 25 minutes of the first half. In the 60th minute, though, Liverpool did change shape, and they went to the 4-2-3-1 that we were using at the start of the season. Gakpo moved out to left, Mo Salah moved out to the right, who were both terrible for the whole game. And then Ekitike went up front. Ekitike looked tired despite being on the pitch for about 30 minutes. So clearly the Marseille game and the Burnley game's taken quite a bit out of him. And we also brought on Curtis Jones for McAllister. I wasn't too bothered about this change. I thought and McAllister was actually having quite a good game up to the 60th minute. I didn't think he did a lot wrong. And in the 70th minute, Liverpool started to give the ball away quite a lot. And from then, it was the same till the end of the game. And I think that comes down to Liverpool being way too relaxed and complacency. It felt like a problem in this game throughout. Liverpool made the final change, and it was Rio on for Gakpo, and that's a change that I think had to happen for Liverpool in this game, because Gakpo was awful throughout and he was giving away the possession way too often. Salah also should have came off in this game, but Liverpool didn't really have any subs to bring on. One of the options could have been to move Frimpong to the wing instead of taking him off. And Liverpool did find the equaliser in this game, and once again the goal comes through Dominic Szoboszlai. A great free kick from him after Salah backheeled it to him, and this got Liverpool back into the game. And from there you felt Liverpool could go on and win this game. And also from there, I felt it was very much a coin flip of who was going to go on and win this game. And it always felt like there was going to be chances. It was just going to be whichever side could take it. Bournemouth had a massive chance where they went for a counter-attack, and Evan Nielsen should have scored after Christie played him in. It was a great chance, but he put it wide, and I was so disappointed with the Liverpool midfield and attack for that sort of last 15 minutes. The work rate was horrendous, and it was exposing the defence completely, and we were completely vulnerable in that last 15 minutes, and always felt like Bournemouth may eventually go on and win this game. Liverpool also had some chances. Curtis Jones/Robertson had a great chance in the final moments of the game, but it was Bournemouth that found the winning goal and threw a long throw in. An issue for us all season. It always felt like Liverpool were going to concede from one of those throw-ins eventually, and that's exactly what happened. We are so vulnerable and fragile to long throws. And once again, it's the same problem. It doesn't seem to matter if you sack a set-piece coach. You're still going to win the first contact. And Liverpool failed to do that. They failed to do it on previous long throws. And eventually it did cost us. And Adley won the game for Bournemouth right at the end. Do I think that was a fair result? I probably think a draw was a fair result. But Liverpool didn't do enough in this game. And Bournemouth had chances to win this game before. And it came down to Liverpool making too many mistakes throughout. The first half is where we lost this game because Bournemouth were pressing us. We were actually playing quite well up to the Virgil van Dijk mistake. That's where we lost this game. Because how Bournemouth were playing was actually suiting our style of football. Bournemouth weren't sitting in and making it difficult. They were pressing us. This is good for a side like Liverpool. They were playing out from the back at times. So this suited Liverpool, but we were nowhere near good enough in that first half. Against a weak Bournemouth side, they have so many injuries. I have no problem with the late goal in terms of allowing it. I think Van Dijk's wrong. I think there's nothing wrong with that goal going in. So then I've got the player rating starting off with Bournemouth, and Petrovic, I'm going to give him a 6. He only had to make sort of one save and he was overall decent. Trufe, I'm going to give him a 7. Got the better of Salah throughout. Senesi, I'm going to give a 7. Adam Smith, a solid performance from him. I'm going to give a 6. James Hill, outstanding. I'm going to give him an 8. And he put the long throw in to win the game for Bournemouth. Lewis Cook, I'm going to give him a 7.5. Alex Scott, a 7. And Krupi, I thought he was disappointing actually, Krupi. I'm going to give him a 5.5. Then looking at the forwards, Evan Nielsen, I'm going to give Evan Nielsen a 7. It was a good finish for the first goal, but he was disappointing in the final moments. He actually should have won the game earlier for Bournemouth, but overall he worked hard. Alex Jimenez, I'm going to give him an 8. It was a good performance of Alex Jimenez and scored a goal. And Adley, I'm going to give him an 8 as well. Overall, the Bournemouth attack was really good in today's game. All three of them getting a goal. Ryan Christie off the bench, I'm going to give him a 6.5. And then finally, the manager, Areola, I'm going to give him an 8. Winning against Liverpool is very impressive. Doesn't matter sort of what form Liverpool are in. It's even more impressive if you consider the injuries that Bournemouth had in this game. So then we've got the Liverpool player rating. Starting off with Alisson, I'm going to give him a 5. I think he could have done better on some of those goals. And I actually think he should have saved at least one of them. Then Jeremy Frimpong, I'm going to give him a 5.5. He was actually alright today. Joe Gomez, I'm going to give a 6. He was alright before he went off injured. Virgil van Dijk, I'm giving Van Dijk a 4. I know he scored a goal in today's game, but he's at fault for 2 goals. Milos Kerkez, I'm going to give a 5. Then we've got the midfield and we've got the double pivot of Alexis McAllister and Ryan Gravenberch. I'm going to give Ryan Gravenberch a 6 and McAllister also a 6. I thought they were fine today actually. Szoboszlai, Liverpool's best player by a mile. I'm going to give him an 8. And Florian Wirtz, I'm going to give him a 5.5. It didn't quite click for him today. Salah and Gakpo up front, I'm going to give them both 3s. They were terrible in today's game. There's no real excuse for those two in today's game. Looking at the players that came on, Tarendo was actually good for Liverpool. I'm going to give him a 6.5. Robertson was also good, improvement on Kerkez. I'm going to give him a 6.5. Could be his last game for Liverpool. Then we've got Hugo Ekitike. I'm going to give him a 5.5. He wasn't great when he came on actually. And then Jones and Ingamo, I'm going to give a 6. And then Arne Slot, I'm going to give him a 5.5. I had no problem with the starting lineup that he picked in today's game. I don't think Ekitike was fit to play a full 90. Otherwise, I think he would have selected him. But you can't give him any more than a 5 when you lose to Bournemouth. And once again, we've seen how fragile Liverpool are, and Slot hasn't managed to change that yet. In terms of what that means for both clubs, for Liverpool are still in 4th place, but if results don't go their way tomorrow, they could potentially drop down to 8th place in the league. And for Bournemouth, they've climbed up to 13th place. A crucial win for Bournemouth, and they're now starting to turn around in the Premier League after some poor form previously. For Liverpool, that is 5 games without a win, 4 draws and a loss. and they're also not got the biggest unbeaten run in Europe. In terms of what this means for Slot, I think they'll probably keep Slot till the end of the season, and then they'll make their decision on him then. I don't think there's much point getting a manager in now. I think there's going to be a lot better options in the summer, potentially someone like a Luis Enrique. That would be what I'd be looking at if Liverpool decide to replace Arne Slot as manager. Their other option is an interim. I'm not quite sure if an interim can solve the problems that we currently have, but maybe a new voice is what Liverpool need. Let me know your thoughts on this game, as well as your stance on Arne Slot, and if you enjoy this, it'd be great if you subscribe to the channel, as well as liking the video.